Okay. Okay, take two. You start this time. I'll quit laughing.
So we're having a really silly morning trying to get this podcast going. It's been a series of bloopers, and we had that moment of we should just record the bloopers. Good morning. I'm Dr. Minette Riordan, along with my husband, Brad Dobson.
Morning.
We are the Path to Profit podcast, and we are here to support creative entrepreneurs in their journey on the path to profit. It is our mission to support people not just in making money, but in having money left over so that you can actually accomplish some of your lifestyle goals. So our theme today is goal setting, because that's a big part of getting from where you are to where you want to be. Without a goal in place, it just feels like you're floundering a lot. And I think Brad and I have both been there. So we want to share a great quote from Jim Rohn. Brad can share the quote if he can put his glasses on and see this morning.
I need my telescopes on.
And there's no guest today. It's just Brad and I riffing with you guys on one of our favorite topics.
If you don't design your own life plan, chances are you'll fall into someone else's plan. And guess what they have planned for you? Not much. From Jim Rohn. That's a great one.
Yeah.
You know, it's funny. A lot of people fall into that. That's not something that I ever fell into, I don't think.
Fell into what?
Working to someone else's plan. I guess I did at being in a job, but I know a lot of people struggle with that specific thing. Maybe not having set their own goals, or feeling kind of rudderless and just following other people's approach.
Yeah, or feeling like you're living your life for your family and taking care of others and overgiving, and that it's not possible, or there's no time or no space or no money to accomplish your own dreams, right? A lot of that comes up in topics also we see with our clients. Or if you don't have the support team behind you, a supportive spouse or parents or even your kids, it can be kind of challenging as well to even have a sense that you have the opportunity to create your own life plan.
Yeah, and maybe you just haven't had the opportunity, we'll say, to build any muscles around goal setting, any habits. You might be someone who just hasn't done that before, and it's a learned muscle. You know, there's a lot to it. There's habits involved in goal setting to do it right, and there's a whole mindset around it. So it can be hard just to step into. I think some people are born with it, though. I mean, who was I listening to? Somebody talking about a lady talking about sailing around the world, and this British lady, and it was something she knew she was going to do from the time she was like 4.
Yeah.
And
some podcast we were listening to.
Saved every penny, bought a dinghy, sailed it around, and just kept on upgrading from there until she ended up sailing solo around the world. I don't think everybody's built with that.
No, I don't think I was. I mean, I don't know. So I always had goals and intentions, and like many people, spent a lot of my lifetime setting New Year's resolutions that I didn't keep. But once I became an entrepreneur and started my own business, I got a whole different perspective on goal setting as the way to actually create consistent profit in your business. Because what I discovered the hard way was that by not having financial goals or number goals or how many clients do I want to have, if I didn't have those goals in place, I really felt like I was floundering. It created a lot of overwhelm. I got really stuck. I wasn't clear where I was going. You know, when we had our publishing company, I remember our office manager one time, had hired a coach to come in and help us create some goals, understand where we were going with our company, and she asked us some really brilliant questions. And I remember my office manager sharing that it felt like we were digging a ditch. And every once in a while we'd poke our head up and we kind of look around and see where we were, but we didn't even know how to course correct or shift, and we were just digging for the sake of digging without any clarity about where we were going. I would say it was one of the biggest mistakes I made with the publishing company, is that I dove right in, right, thinking, oh my gosh, this is going to be so much fun, but I didn't know where I was going. And so I spent 11 years, or part of those 11 years, feeling pretty lost.
Yeah, and I don't know that you should qualify it as a mistake to have dove in, because there's
it wasn't a mistake to dive in. It was a mistake not to have a clear goal in place for where it was going.
Yeah,
I have no regrets about the publishing company at all.
Well, and some people, I mean, it's okay to dive in and then set a goal, because some people like me, might not ever dive in.
It's a great perspective.
But you do need that goal.
Yeah.
It's funny, sitting here thinking about this, I don't know that I never had any big goals growing up, nothing really big. And then from the time I started working, I had work goals. I always wanted to achieve a higher salary, better standing in the company. But that was really the only goal in my life per se. Everything else was just fun living and growing a family and all that type of stuff, but there weren't goals associated with it. And then the first goal outside of that was a marathon goal, I think. And that one really just, I don't know, came into my head. And from there, a lot of fitness goals. But now I've come full circle, and it's actually my fitness goals that are driving my ability to set goals in my business.
So Brad is celebrating his first year as a full-time entrepreneur in the Path to Profit Academy.
Woohoo!
So it's pretty exciting. And, we talked about in one of our recent podcasts about our mission and our vision and our values, but we've also been really strategic in our goals for this year. So just like the training that would have to happen for the marathon or the 2-time Ironman triathlon over here, right? There's a lot of work that goes into creating a strategic plan for your business. So we basically this year have 3 different revenue streams. We have one-on-one coaching with Minette. Or couples coaching with Minette and Brad. We have a year-long group program that we offer, and we're launching a really exciting new course in about a month called the Creative Freedom Formula. And that's all we're selling this year. So we've really simplified, I think, what we're selling, and we know exactly how much of each one of those revenue streams we need to sell, or each one of those items that we need to sell in order to reach our bold money goals this year. And it feels both intimidating because we've set a really big goal. I'll just put that out there.
Scary as hell.
But it's also super clear, right? And from my perspective, a goal should be something that stretches you, especially when it comes to financial goals.
There's a little nuance there too. I think we should talk about how. So Minette just talked about a bold money goal. Mm-hmm. That's the scary one.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite things.
The nuance there, I think that everybody should take is that there's the concept of a stretch goal.
Yeah.
And
a target goal and a minimum goal.
Yeah, so give yourself a range.
Yeah. Let's share the story about Yolanda.
Okay.
So I want to just share a quick client success story. We don't usually do that on the show, but it's a great example of setting your stretch, your target, and your minimum goal. So one of our clients was creating an event recently, and her minimum goal was, I think, to get 15 people in the room. Her target goal was to get 30, and her stretch goal was to get 40. And so we just put those numbers out there. We set some clear intentions. She did some marketing. She asked for help, which was really important, asked her friends to help her promote and fill the event. She has a great community. She had 45 women in the room for an awesome vision board party. And then she had sales goals from that event as well. And she was super excited to sell maybe 3 to 5 people into her program. I think 5 people was her stretch goal. And she actually got 8 people to join a 6-week program that she's offering. But for her, the success and sense of accomplishment that came from reaching those stretch goals was so empowering. Like if she just hit the target, she would have been happy. Even if she'd hit the minimum, there would have been cause for celebration. But the fact that she was so clear about the goals helped her understand how to fill the room, what she was going for in terms of making an offer and selling. So live events are one of Brad and I's favorite ways of bringing in clients and making money. And it's very strategic, and you do have to have very specific goals. So it's a small example of how you can use that stretch, that minimum or stretch, target, and minimum goal setting model to really push yourself outside of your comfort zone.
Yeah. And there's another good part to it too, is that you can really drive some of your numbers and your fiscal part out of those, out of those 3, out of that range.
Yeah.
So, your driveway's paved in gold. If you hit your stretch numbers, that's fantastic. And you know that if you hit your minimum number, that's kind of perhaps the baseline income that you're looking at if you're a solopreneur, maybe that's the baseline income that you needed to to have a functioning business this year. And you want to make that middle one something that you'd be really happy with. You're not going to be over the moon with it, but that things are going your way if that happened. But you can run those numbers out of your goals, and we do that for our summit attendance. We do it for our planning. In fact, we didn't do enough of it for our planning. Actually, that makes me think, because I'm working towards a fitness goal right now of improving my 1 mile running time. And so it's I kind of set it all as a stretch goal. I want to get it to a 6:50 mile, 6 minute and 50 second mile, which for me is fantastic. But I probably should have put a range in there. And we should have done the same with our 2017 fiscal planning.
Yeah, because I remember January a year ago, or December, I guess, actually, when we were having a VIP day with our sales coach, and she and I were happily making these big numbers, big projections, setting some big goals. And he wasn't even in the realm of seeing that as a possibility.
Oh, I was so uncomfortable. I felt like I was in the room with two people that were smoking crack and just coming up with, fairyland numbers. It was just, I was not cool with that. That was very difficult.
Yeah, because you'd never done it before, right? Mm-hmm. Just from that perspective. But now this year, it's a different picture. It's really clear to see what we accomplished last year and what do we need to do differently to get to the goals this year. So our goal didn't change a ton, right, for this year, because we were off a bit last year. So just noticing that we have a completely different and fine-tuned and focused goal setting. Mm-hmm. But I want to maybe take it down a notch and talk about daily steps and action steps that you take to get to your goals. This is always really clear with training, fitness training goals, right, or weight loss goals, but people don't always apply that same methodology to their business planning and structure. And sometimes it's scary. Like Brad was saying, we have these huge goals, like your Ironman try, your first one was a huge goal.
Yeah.
Well, he didn't go from saying today I'm going to do an Ironman and then tomorrow he does it. It was over a year, the first one, mm-hmm. of training and commitment. So
you know what with that one?
What?
I actually innately set a stretch goal, a minimum
for the time, for completion time.
No, they were worded a little differently. Yeah. My minimum was I want to complete.
Yeah.
My medium one was I don't want to be out there for 17 hours in a suck fest. and then, the stretch goal was an actual time. But yeah, that's funny. I set those innately that way.
Yeah. But anyways, the way you got there was by hiring a coach, going a day at a time, do this today, do this tomorrow, go this far, this fast, this hard, do this many, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And we forget that in our business, and we can be easily both excited and intimidated by these big goals that we set, and we wonder, how in the heck am I ever going to get there? And it's by chunking them down into tiny bite-sized steps. So knowing that I want 5 one-on-one private clients this year, that's it, 5, right? And so if I get one every other month, I'm on track with my goals. But then underneath getting one a month or one every other month, I have to look at, well, how am I going to get that one client? Who do I need to get in front of? What kind of marketing strategies do I need to have in place? Right now, as we mentioned on our last podcast, we're deep into planning and strategizing for our Creative Business Summit happening March 24th to 26th in Los Angeles. Most fun 3 days you'll ever have working on your business.
We want to see you there.
Love to see you there. Love to meet you in person. But, it's setting those goals for that event. How many people do we want in the room? How many sales do we want to make from that event? And what's the marketing? What amount of marketing strategy, minute out speaking, getting on other people's stages or hosting my own events, Brad doing all the digital marketing, getting systems in place, Facebook ad funnels in place. There's a lot, right? It can be really overwhelming to think about the 10, 15, 20, or even 50 marketing tactics that we could implement to get people to our summit. But the truth is there's only a few that really work well for us and that we get really excited about. So honing in on what marketing strategies are going to work and then being really consistent. Like I think if we struggled last fall with filling an event because we weren't consistent in our marketing strategy. So it's just noticing the difference.
Yeah.
Right?
And there's the planning ahead part.
Yes. Yes, creatives, we tend to like the last minute planning, and that doesn't work when you're
work
filling
at all.
events.
It doesn't work at all. You've gotta have those the big goals out in front of you, and then you have to put the plan in place to make that work.
Yeah.
Put a process in place, and then trust that process.
Mm-hmm.
Trusting the process is something that triathletes say all the time, especially when you're working with a coach, because it is a process. It takes time, and you're building muscles. And I really think the same thing applies to you in business. You're not going to get there if you don't have intentional, small daily steps. And sometimes you fail at them miserably.
Yeah.
But you don't get down on yourself because you had one bad workout or one bad networking meeting.
Yeah. One bad speaking event where nobody signed up for anything.
That's right. The important thing is that you got to the next one and executed again and practice and practice. It's, it's that, it sounds trite. I think I say that a lot. There's the thing about, it's not how many times you fall down, it's how many times you get up again. And there's lots of falling down to be done. Yeah. You're not an entrepreneur if you haven't been doing that.
And I think we've talked about that before, that, you're setting these goals, and actually the faster you fail in your efforts to get to the goal, the faster that you learn. The more mistakes you make, the faster you learn. Does that mean it's all about making mistakes and failure? No, absolutely not. And sometimes what feels like a failure is just one little lesson that you're learning on how to do things differently. And it's not even a failure. It's just a misstep, or it feels out of alignment. And you just need to come back into alignment and do a little bit of course correction.
Learning opportunity.
Yes. Learning opportunity.
Lots of those.
Ooh, we had a lot of learning opportunities last year. I want to add something else. So, we record these podcasts ahead of time. So it's a Thursday morning. I'm getting ready to get on a plane to fly to Phoenix to speak at a conference. It's been on my bucket list for the last couple of years. And I finally got up the courage last year to just apply to speak. And I paid attention to the deadlines. I put the deadline in my calendar to make sure I wouldn't miss the speaker application. So it's the National Craft and Hobby Association conference. That it's a huge event. They hold thousands and thousands of people every year. I'm doing a 2-hour workshop on our color wheel marketing system. And I cannot tell you how excited I am. It's like a dream come true, because not only do I get to go speak at the conference and do a workshop, I get to go to the expo. Brad's tired of hearing me talk about this.
Going to come back with
see
a
what's
suitcase
hot
full
and
of art
new
stuff.
and trendy in the art world. Because in addition to being a business coach, I'm also passionate about making art. You guys can see some in the background, and it's a huge part of my life in my business. So, like Brad has fitness goals, I also have art goals. And in fact, I love Facebook. I had a memory today that was shared from a couple of years ago of a painting I'd done a couple of years ago. And I made so much progress. I wasn't seeing or acknowledging my own progress. And I think that's another part of the reason that small daily goal setting steps are so important, because it allows you to see your progress and to measure your progress so that you feel like you're consistently moving forward towards your goals.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I mean, you can look up tons of stuff about goal setting. Look up SMART goals, SMART.
We've got 2 blogs on our blog, 2 blog posts on our blog on the path-to-profit-academy.com in the last week, both about what kind of goal setter are you? Did you know there's actually different types of goal setters? Go check it out.
I think the other thing is that accountability is a huge part of goal setting.
Having buddies.
You need, maybe if you're like everybody else, you did 2017 planning and it kind of looked like New Year's resolutions, whatever you decided. Maybe you're making goals right now. If you don't have any, you need to be.
Yeah.
But part of that daily practice of doing small pieces of it is to have accountability, whether that's through a coach or an accountability buddy. Or just putting it out there on your Facebook that says, "Hey, I'm headed towards this stretch goal. Help me out. Give me support. Whatever." That's what was the thing? There's this hilarious thing. It was on the Tim Ferriss podcast that people are using where, in order to force accountability, you put your goal out there and you sign up for this service that says, if I don't reach my goal, there's going to be a donation paid to some horrible charity, like one that you would never give to because it's completely antithetical to your views. So if you don't reach your goal, that thing is going to get they're going to be funded in your name.
You know, what's fascinating about that, though, is that you have to be motivated by money. Right. And what I find with so many creatives is that they're not motivated by money, which is one of the biggest challenges with setting financial goals in our business and staying accountable and on track.
Interesting.
Because what we're creating, how we're serving, the impact we're having are way more important than money. So unless it was like a really painful goal, like thousands of dollars, if it was just $25 or something, I don't know that it would motivate me, because money doesn't motivate me. I'd actually be more motivated by the positive impact of, if I reach my goal, then money would be paid to a charity of my choice.
Well,
so interesting positive and negative reinforcement perspectives.
Yeah, and there's a lot of people that achieve their goals through fundraising.
Yeah.
That's why
that's what Kickstarter is. Kickstarter is a great example.
But things like Race for the Cure, you see the teams out preparing,
team in training,
all of those, they raise money for MS or other, great charities. But that's what keeps some people going, whatever works for you, but you do need some sort of accountability to keep you going.
Yeah. So this was a bit of a rambling conversation. So I want to maybe pull it in and give you 3 specific steps that you could implement right away to focus on putting some goals in place, particular financial goals as they relate to getting on the path to profit and staying there. So the first one is what Brad and I talked about. It's about setting a bold money goal, or you could do the stretch, target, and minimum goals. Either perspective is fine, but it's having a clear goal for how much money that you want to create in your business this year. And underneath that goal, and it should feel like a stretch, it should pull you outside of your comfort zone, because if not, you're not going to work that hard to actually achieve it and accomplishment. And that money goal needs to include both the amount of money it costs you to run your business, the money that you want to get paid, and money you'd love to have left over. So be really clear about what the amount of money is that's going to get you to your lifestyle goals. Aligning your financial and your lifestyle goals is a really powerful part of this process. So that's the first step.
Yeah, we don't want to hear, hey, I want to make $250,000, or I want to make $100,000.
Or I want to make $1 million.
That's not, there's tons of businesses out there that make $1 million a year, and they pay out $1.1 million.
Yeah.
Or $1.2 million.
Yes.
Right. It doesn't help you. You need to identify how much net you want to come up with.
It's about planning for profit, right? It's about planning for profit. And once you have that money goal in place, you need to understand exactly how you're going to get there. How many sales of products do you need to make? How many sales of services? How many clients do you need? So do the numbers. I know numbers aren't always the most fun thing for creatives, so do them in pretty gel pens and add some sparkly stickers, and it'll be way more fun, I promise. And so just make those hard parts fun, but figure out how you're going to get there. And then once you know exactly what you're selling this year and how many you need to sell, then you can structure your day-to-day marketing plan around reaching those goals. And your marketing, remember, needs to be really simple. It should be pulled down to where you could just do it in 30 minutes a day for your online stuff, plus a few speaking opportunities and networking events every month. And you're going to be good to go to get there, but it's putting that plan in place so that you know step by step by step what you need to do every single day. So having a clear goal in place, having a clear plan for how to accomplish that goal, and then chunking that down into bite-sized daily steps. You can also always go get our Artful Profit Planner, right?
That's a great one.
It will help you chunk all these things down. It'll help you understand exactly how to set those goals and how to chunk them down into day-to-day steps, and also how to celebrate your success. So it's totally free, artfulprofitplanner.com. You can go check it out and grab that for free. One of our favorite resources for you guys. Plus, it has beautiful mandalas and plenty of space for brainstorming and coloring and being creative as you're planning. So it's a super fun one, but we can't say enough about how important it is to have clear financial goals in place if you're going to get on the path to profit and stay there.
Was that 3?
Yep. Set your goal, figure out how you're going to get there, and chunk it down into daily steps.
Perfect. I love it. She's so smart. And, chime in on the blog, shoot us an email, whatever you want. If you need help with your goals, just, you need somebody to bounce that off of, give us a shout. We'd love to hear from you.
Yeah. Brainstorming is like our favorite thing to do. We could invest a lot of time in brainstorming, but it's a great place to start. So I'm Manette Riordan. This is Brad Dobson. We're the Path to Profit podcast, supporting creative entrepreneurs in reaching their financial goals.
Love you guys.
Go leave us some love over on iTunes as well. Questions on the blog. Love to hear from you. Make it a great day. And if you want some accountability, then I challenge you to go to the show notes for this show and put your bold money goal in the comments, and
that's a good
we'll
one.
hold you accountable. There's nothing like putting it out there in the public to really get some good feedback.
Awesome. Perfect. See you later, guys.
All right. Have a great day.